Hello there, and welcome back to this part 2 of the Leadership Development OSCS model. I hope you have already gone through the first part of this model. Here is the model for a quick recap. And in this part, we're going to deal with the first two sections, which is the AIC and the strategy part. You will see here that there are 6 integral critical components or elements of this particular model. What I'm saying is I have a framework and an approach as to how some of these high level ideas at a model level could be actually grounded and made impact on the ground. I have all the wherewithal for that, so I'm going to give you an overview about what this is all about. All right, so the first thing is about the aspiration of the promoters, owners, CEOs, whatever you call. Okay, so what is it? What is the vision and the mission? What's the vision? What's the dream they have, and what do they want to achieve in the next 3-5 years? And what are those mission objectives, so that the rest of it, gets cascaded down into a whole framework of, at a strategy level and at a process and at an enterprise level in terms of a performance architecture. So that is about it. The second thing is, what is your ideology? What is the ideology of the business? Which is, are you going to be operating and functioning just to achieve incremental or maximum? You make your efforts to maximize it. Is it only towards a shareholder value, or you want to go beyond and be excellent and maximize the stakeholder value? Stakeholder, when I say, I mean your partners, your bankers, the regulatory, the government, the vendors, the employees, your community, all of that. Everybody who's somewhere or the other directly associated with your business. Yeah, so you want to reach out to them, because the framework is going to be different in each of the case. So here what my model prescribes is that you need to have a shareholder value, because the financial performance has to excel, because only if there is good financial performance are we going to have a great stakeholder value created as well. All right, so what is your customer value proposition? What is your employee value proposition? These things are quite essential, because everything else that we do in business is going to be wired to this. Yeah, it's going to be aligned to this. So which is why this has to be very well articulated. And when I say articulate, it's not just about scripting something and posting it in your websites and what have you, annual reports, your brochures and all your presentations, but what I mean to say is that you got to action this out. You have to, month on month, day in, day out, have an action plan concretely, so that everything culminates into some incremental shareholder value and stakeholder value. So the employee propositions and the customer value propositions have to be very clear, crystal clear, and they should be well laid down. And the core values, what is going to be a core value? So I have here, I'm not coming up with a laundry list of 20, 30, 40 and saying that all of these are good. Okay, so what I'm saying is that it has to be these 6 values. It could be one to more if you can afford to, if you can manage that kind of a complexity, but you need to definitely have these 6 values, which are inclusion, having an inclusive approach to the business at a core value level. Then everything else that we do behaviorally, whether it's a business decision, whether it's a people kind of a decision, whether it's having a code or a SOP, all of that you're going to encompass this. You have to have this in mind before you code all of that. So inclusion is number one. So the second value, as you could see, is the shareholder value, because financial performance is quite critical, and and then the third one is the stakeholder value, which is about all other partners in your business. Uh, the fourth is customer focus. The fifth is continual capability development, because your delivery capability has to be progressive, considering the competition in the marketplace. You've got to be better by the day. Yeah. And finally, the last one is about cultural excellence, and we're going to discuss about that. I'm going to share a lot of insight. So this brings us to the end of the first element of this model. Now it's time to move on to the second element, which is, now you must have heard about this particular dichotomy among this balance, or the two perspectives, which are strategy and execution. Which is more important? Is it strategy or is it execution? Well, you all know both of them are equally important. Now, so far in the first element of this model, I've talked about the ideology and the vision, mission, the aspiration of the business as you started a business, and then what is that ideology towards your stakeholders and your shareholders and your customers and employees. You should have a clearly laid down philosophy in terms of which things could cascade down, and we talked about the core values. So far so good, but is that enough? Is that gonna do everything that's done in a enterprise and a business organization? We need, as you all know, a strategy, a clear strategy to execute the ideology that we have and get into results, all sorts of results, tangible, intangible. All right, so we need to have very clearly laid down strategic objectives in terms of the enhancing the shareholder value, meeting the stakeholder expectations and giving them delight, doing that, surpassing all the expectations and really getting into a stakeholder delight delivery. And then the process excellence, the technology excellence, the people excellence, innovation, the financial performance, of course, all of that together. So these are very high level, broad kind of perspectives, but we need to have very strategic KPIs, against each of those strategic objectives. So that's when you're going to have a very complete framework which is going to set a direction, between the ideology and the dreams and vision and mission till, the balance sheet and the perceptions of all the stakeholders. Yeah, so this is a great bridge, having a strategy, and of course strategy has to live through. They say that most of about 80 to 90% of strategies fail because they start off with initial excitement, but then everyone goes after numbers, and the significance of strategy is forgotten till you have a next year's board meeting, and then you come up with another strategy document and all of that. So, but if you have practices of rigorous and rhythmic kind of reviews against something like a strategic balance scorecard, or some kind of a mechanism like that, then you're going to live the strategy, and you're going to check what's working, what's not working, and what kind of modifications you could take. So strategy is important. So now we move on to the third element of this model, which is about leadership.